Hi, and welcome to my space. Would you believe I just came up with that? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, quite recently, I did a couple of videos on my Instagram stories talking about writing. And a couple of you have some questions, and so here we go. A bit of history about me. I have been writing for a really long time. I've written poems, I've written articles, I've written short stories, and I have written a couple of books. Not in my name yet, that's going to come out quite soon. And I'm guessing by that you can probably infer that yes, I have been a ghostwriter. But okay, on to the good stuff. So I want to say a week ago, but I'm not so sure. But quite recently, I did a couple of Instagram stories, and I spoke about writing, and I asked if any of you had any questions, just send them to me, to my inbox, and I will get your answers out there as soon as I can. And that took a bit of a while, but that's what this video is for. So these answers are going to be based on my opinions, one, the things that I have experienced and I have learned, two, my tips and my tricks, three, lastly, some professional tips here and there. And if you have any more questions, just DM me. Here we go. So, question number one. I think they say numero uno. So, question one. How do you feel when you start to write? Do you feel relaxed, excited, eager, or anxious and unsure of what to say? Well, when I start to write, I am usually really excited because I have all these ideas and all the possibilities just flooding me, and I'm pretty excited. And then I won't say I get anxious or I get frustrated, but I do get kind of like, because I realize that I can't put every idea in it. And so then comes the process of sifting and sorting. So I am really excited through it all. I hope that answers your question. Part two of the question was, are you relaxed? I am relaxed when I write. Yes, I am relaxed when I get an idea. I am excited and I am relaxed. And I am not unsure of what to say. The thing about writers is we have a lot to say. That's why we are writers. We want to put what's in our mind out there. But with me personally, the struggle is not being unsure of what to say, but how to properly say it so you feel all the emotions, you understand what's going on, and you want to literally like live in the story. Okay, question two. Do you struggle or find it hard to put your thoughts to paper? That kind of relates to question one. I don't struggle to put my thoughts to paper. I just start to write and it flows back. I do a couple of edits because I am trying to just make sure that what I actually want to say, I say it how I actually intend. What I feel comes out. Hope that helps. Question three. How do you deal with having many ideas? I write every idea down. Point one, to writing properly and to making sure you put your best foot forward is every idea you get, put it down. Every single idea you get, put it down. And then begin to figure out which idea to keep and to kick. Some ideas you would actually be able to transition into another story. You get that? Question four. How many times do you edit and how much editing is too much? Well, when I first started to write, I probably did too many edits. Too many edits. And that kind of delays you getting your product out there. And it also just keeps you from moving forward and from progressing. So I did begin with doing a lot of edits, and then I figured out the smart way to edit, which I will probably come to later. But typically, I might do, I'm not sure, but I can put a number on it. I can put a number on it. Like with editing, you have to know when to personally stop. And that comes with practice, it comes with experience, it comes with maturity in your art. But how much editing is too much? If you're trying to aim for a kind of perfection, yeah, that's too much editing. Question 5. How do you know when to stop editing? Questions on editing are coming up now. Okay, so how to know when to stop editing? So first of all, it's very important that you know that when you start to edit, you will go through different rounds of editing. Yeah, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. Different rounds of editing. You will go through it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good. Every kind of edit falls into these 2 categories. 1, the structural edit, and 2, the copy edit or the fine edit. What I personally call getting into the nitty-gritty. But let's do is the structural edit, the first one. So structural edits are just basically making sure that your work makes sense. The big picture you had in your head, in your mind, it's all about just making sure that picture carries through in what you're writing. And all in all, from page to page, from paragraph to paragraph, from chapter to chapter, however you flow, it makes sense. You can see the big picture through. It flows through seamlessly. You also just want to also watch out for any additional information or any additional characters you might want to add or develop, or just stuff you want to add, stuff you want to take out. So yes, you're not just looking at the big picture, but you're looking at the content, not the context. You're looking at the content. Okay? Then when you come into the fine lines, the nitty gritty, you're looking at just making sure you have no spelling errors. You're looking at grammar. You're looking at punctuations. You're looking at the context, right? The nitty gritty, that's like literally all it is. You're looking at the context of a line, just making sure that everything is, got your soldiers all in a row. Capiche? So let's look at the edits, and let's look at just flowing through the edits, at least the way I flow with it. So we're gonna go through first with the plot. And so with the plot, you want to make sure that it makes sense. And so with that, you want to, and this is also true for sci-fi and fantasy and fiction and all of that stuff, because you want to make sure that the laws are plausible, right? And so it makes sense. So whatever, if you're creating a fantasy world, make sure that, and I have created a fantasy world before, yes, but you want to make sure that the laws are plausible. Basically, set up laws, make it plausible, and let your plot dance about it. For example, if you're writing a book about Earth and just the basic laws on Earth, you're not changing a single thing. Make sure that your plot lines up with the laws of Earth. Otherwise, it's not plausible. It's not possible. 2, you want to make sure that if you're creating a fantasy fiction world, you need to set up the laws. Otherwise, you will come into problems. And I discovered this the hard way. And so you want to make sure that if you're creating a fantasy fiction world, set up your laws first. Write your ideas down and then set up the laws, and make sure that your plot, the storyline, everything is grounded upon your laws that you have set up. 2, you also want to look at your characters. Do they seem real? Do they seem authentic? Have you developed them well? As much as you want to make sure your plot and your world is real and it's substantial, you want to do the same for your characters, because really you're taking us on an adventure and on a journey. When you create fiction, you're dealing with world scenery, and so you want to make sure that I am pulled in, or your reader is pulled in. And when you deal with your characters too, you want to make them relatable, because we walk on the journey with your characters when we read them. And so you want to make sure that it's possible, she's real. No, well, not she's not real, unless it's based on a real person, but you want to make sure that she is relatable. Okay, moving on. 3, your pace and your flow. Your pace and your flow. You want to make sure that runs out throughout the entire theme of the story. So for example, if you are taking up from a suspense thriller, don't come in later on with cold water. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Let the pace and the rhythm and the anthem of the story flow throughout from the very beginning, chapter 1, line 1, first line, all the way to the end. Let that carry through. So look at your rhythm. What's your theme? Let it carry through. Okay? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an entire episode dedicated to editing properly, because there's a lot of stuff. And yeah, I'm just going to cut this here. I'm going to go on to the next question. Where do you get your ideas? I get my ideas from everywhere. You watched my story. You heard me. I wrote a poem about stones. Yes, I got my ideas from a stone. And stones are actually pretty cool when you study them. But yeah, I get my ideas from everywhere, from watching the waves, from something I hear on the news, from something I hear from a friend. Yeah, that's just me. Next question. When you begin to write, what's your process? Well, my process is, well, first I get my idea. Then I get comfortable with my idea. I think about it. Then when I'm done thinking about it, I get my laptop, I get my notebook, I get my pen, I get whatever I can get to actually write. I get that down, I write all my ideas down. If I can't get close enough to a computer or a notebook, I get my phone out and I hit record and I record my ideas verbally. I'll get to that later. When I'm done doing that, I actually begin to lay out my outline. If I don't have a pen and paper close, I will still use my phone to draw my outline. Then I will get an actual, and I will begin to write. If I can get an actual computer or notebook or whatever and begin to write, I will record on my phone, on my Audible, with a voice recorder. That's the word. I wasn't going to get into this now, but I think I might probably just get into it now. The reason I do this is there is a bit of a misconception out there. Personally, that's what I've realized. The more I talk to people, there's a misconception out there that as a writer, you should just write. No. Whatever makes you productive, whatever makes you able to get your stuff out there quickly, whatever ensures that you do not forget your idea, do that. And so yes, I use my recorder a lot. Actually, I have too many voice notes, and it's about things I want to write, ideas that come to me. It's about a lot of stuff, and so I take that, I label them when I'm done, and then I put them into writing when I get the chance to. How I play it and I type it out. Simple. Your voice is also a writer's greatest asset. Why am I saying this? Because there is a lot of information you will miss when you just read your work and when you just write in silence. But when you begin to speak out what you write, more ideas come to you. The way you read a sentence begins to change. You begin to see what the reader might see and begin to hear what the reader might hear. And that allows you to better edit and to better add, to take away and develop your work. And so yes, I read my work out loud. No matter how long it is, I read it out loud. I might do it section by section until I'm done, but I read my work out loud. I don't just read it to myself, I read it out to my husband, I read it out to my parents, I read it out to my mentors, I read it out to my friends, I read it out to my closest people. Yeah, and I get their feedback and I go and I run from there. So yes, read it out now. Read it out. It will help you. Hey, it will help you. Okay, next question. If you could tell a writer one thing, what will it be? No idea is a foolish idea. And you are never too young to begin to write. Again, I just said that writing is not just in what you write. Writing starts with what you say. And so if your kids are always telling you stories, encourage that. That's the beginning of a very good writer, of a very good storyteller. A writer is basically a storyteller. Someone who exposes, highlights, defines, elaborates, makes concise definitions, tells and reveals worlds. That's what I would say. I'm going to end with this list of questions right here and continue in another video coming up real soon. Just wait for it. May the peace and joy and love of God be and rest upon you wherever you are. And may He lead you into a deeper realization of who He is. Oh, and don't forget to follow me at Rhoda and Soa.